My sister announced her pregnancy with my husband at my birthday dinner expecting me to collapse She expected tears, hysteria, a scene straight out of a soap opera. Instead, I simply raised a toast I reached into my bag and revealed the results of the fertility test he took last month. And just like that, the room went cold. You see, the thing about revenge is that it doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be served with a smile in absolute precision. The Oakwood Steakhouse, my parents' choice for my 35th birthday, was one of those places that smelled of aged leather and expensive Cabernet. The lighting was low, designed for intimacy, but tonight it only served to hide the secret tension tightening around the table. My parents were there beaming. My older sister, Vanessa, sat next to her husband, David. And beside me was my husband, Mark. The mood had been cordial through the shrimp cocktail and ribeyes, though I noticed Vanessa kept making eyes at Mark across the centerpiece. Her hand drifted to her stomach repeatedly, a subconscious tic I'd seen in a dozen mommy vlogger videos. I wasn't blind. I had suspected their affair for nearly 2 months. The signs were cliché but undeniable. The hushed phone calls Mark took while checking the tires in the driveway, the way Vanessa suddenly became unavailable for our Sunday morning coffee runs. The fact that Mark started working late every Tuesday the exact same night Vanessa claimed she was taking a new advanced Pilates class. When I asked to join her, she said the class was invite only. When I offered to bring Mark dinner at the office, he insisted on ordering takeout to save me the trip. 8 weeks ago, I did something out of character. I told Mark our insurance premiums would drop if we did a comprehensive wellness check. I pushed for the full panel, including a fertility test, Mark, always vain about his health and still bragging about his college hockey days, went without hesitation. The results came directly to my secure inbox. They were devastating, but not for the reason you might think. Mark was sterile A brutal injury from a hockey puck to the groin during his senior year had done permanent damage. The report was black and white. 0 sperm count. 0 possibility of natural conception. I cried for 2 days, not because I wanted a baby right then, but because the math was terrifying. If Mark couldn't have children, he knew times he couldn't have children. So if Vanessa was claiming to be pregnant with his child, they were plotting something cruel. They were banking on my ignorance to humiliate me. I spent the last 8 weeks planning this moment with the focus of a sniper. I had the evidence printed. I had a new apartment lease signed. I had moved my savings. As the waiter placed a slice of chocolate lava cake in front of me, Vanessa cleared her throat. The sound was sharp, cutting through the ambient jazz. She reached for David's hand with her left, and with her right she cradled her belly. "Before we sing," Vanessa said, her voice pitched high with fake excitement, "I have some news. David and I are pregnant." My mother gasped in delight. My father grinned. David looked like he'd won the lottery. And Mark? Mark just looked at me, checking for a reaction. "But that's not all," Vanessa continued, her voice dropping to a malicious purr. She looked me dead in the eye. "The father is Mark." The table went silent. Completely, utterly silent. It wasn't just a pause in conversation. It felt like the oxygen had been vacuumed out of the room. The ambient noise of the steakhouse, the clinking of silverware, the murmur of other diners, the soft jazz seemed to fade into a dull buzz. My mother's hand was still frozen at her mouth, her eyes wide. My father's face had drained of all color, leaving him looking gray and old. David's smile had vanished, replaced by a confusion that was rapidly curdling into understanding and rage. Vanessa was watching me, waiting for the collapse, waiting for the tears, the screaming, the scene she had scripted in her head. This was her moment of triumph. She had everything I had: a husband, a stable life, and now she had taken what she thought I couldn't have. She believed she was carrying his child. I picked up my wine glass and stood slowly. Every eye at the table locked onto me. Vanessa's lips curled into the beginning of a smirk. A toast, I said, my voice steady and clear as a bell. I reached into my purse and pulled out the folded document on *** clinic letterhead *** to new beginnings and to scientific facts. I unfolded the paper and placed it on the table in front of my father, who was sitting closest to me. He picked it up automatically, his eyes scanning the document. I watched his face as the comprehension dawned, the horror setting in. That, I said, looking directly at Vanessa, is the fertility test Mark took last month. The one that confirms he is completely, irreversibly, *** sterile, ***. Mark choked on his water. ***, 0 sperm count. ***, I continued, my voice cutting through the air. Which means, dear sister, that either you're lying about being pregnant or you're pregnant with someone else's baby. But it is absolutely, medically impossible for that baby to be Mark's. Vanessa's face went from triumphant to deathly pale in the span of 3 seconds. Mark pushed back from the table, his chair scraping loudly against the wooden floor like a scream. David grabbed the paper from my father's hands, reading it with increasing fury. "This is a lie," Vanessa stammered, her voice trembling. "She faked this. The clinic's number is right there," I said pleasantly, gesturing to the *** clinic letterhead ***. Feel free to call them. The test was administered 4 weeks ago. Mark's name, date of birth, and social security number are all on the form. It's quite official." My mother had started crying quietly. My father sat frozen, looking between Vanessa and Mark like he didn't recognize either of them. David stood up so violently his chair toppled backward with a crash. "Whose baby is it?" he demanded, his voice tight with barely controlled rage. "Whose baby is it, Vanessa?" But Vanessa wasn't looking at David. She was staring at Mark with pure hatred. "You told me you could have kids," she hissed. "You told me." "You're not even pregnant, are you?" I interrupted. This was all theater, a fake pregnancy to destroy my marriage publicly, make me look pathetic, maybe get me to leave Mark so you two could be together without the mess of divorce. Except you didn't count on me actually checking whether your grand revelation was even biologically possible. Mark had gone completely white. He started to speak, but I held up my hand. "Don't," I said. *** divorce papers, ***, will be delivered to you tomorrow. The apartment is in my name only. I've already moved my things out. I'll have my lawyer contact yours about the car." "Elena, please," Mark started. "To be clear," I continued, my voice cutting through his plea, "I don't want explanations. I don't want apologies. I especially don't want to hear that this meant nothing or that you love me. You planned this. Both of you planned this entire scene to humiliate me on my birthday in front of our family, probably expecting me to cry and beg. Instead, you humiliated yourselves." I looked at Vanessa, who had tears streaming down her face now, though whether from shame or rage I couldn't tell. "And you, big sister. You were always so sure you were better than me. Better job, better husband, better life. You had everything and you still needed to take the one thing I had. Except you got greedy. You couldn't just have an *** affair *** quietly. You had to make it a public spectacle. You had to twist the knife. And that's what destroyed you." David was staring at Vanessa with unconcealed disgust. "We're done," he said flatly. "Don't come home. I'll pack your shit and leave it at your mother's." My father finally found his voice. "Get out," he said to Mark and Vanessa. "Both of you, get out of this restaurant." As Mark and Vanessa stood to leave, both crying now, both trying to say something that might salvage the situation, I picked up my fork and took a bite of my lava cake. "It was excellent," I said, to no one in particular, though everyone was listening. "The thing about revenge," I added, "is that it tastes better when served with a smile." The restaurant manager appeared at our table moments after their humiliating exit, clearly concerned about the disruption. My father handled him with quiet dignity, explaining there had been a family emergency, but insisting on paying the full bill, plus a generous tip for our server who had witnessed the spectacle. My mother hadn't stopped crying, her mascara leaving dark trails down her cheeks. David remained standing, his hands gripping the back of his overturned chair so tightly his knuckles had gone white. "How long?" he asked me, his voice hoarse. "How long have you known that they were having an *** affair ***? "About 8 weeks," I replied, setting down my fork. I started noticing inconsistencies in their schedules, but I only confirmed Mark's sterility 4 weeks ago. The pregnancy announcement tonight was pure speculation on my part. I gambled that Vanessa would try something dramatic to destroy me publicly, and I was right. 8 weeks, David repeated, his jaw clenching. You knew for 8 weeks and didn't tell me. I needed to be certain, I said calmly, and I needed leverage. If I had confronted them privately, they would have denied everything, made me look paranoid, and continued more carefully. This way, they destroyed themselves in front of witnesses. David's phone rang. He looked at the screen and silenced it. Vanessa, he muttered. 30 seconds later, it rang again. He turned it off completely. I have something else, I said, reaching into my purse again. I pulled out a small envelope and handed it to David. I hired a private investigator, 2 weeks ago. These are hotel photos. From last Tuesday night when Mark told me he had a late client meeting and Vanessa told you she was visiting her friend Sarah. David opened the envelope, and I watched his face transform from grief to fury as he flipped through the images. Mark and Vanessa entering a cheap motel off the interstate, kissing in the parking lot, leaving 3 hours later. The timestamps were clear. Sarah confirmed she hasn't seen Vanessa in months when I called her, I added. She was actually hurt that Vanessa kept using her as an alibi without asking. Why didn't you show me these before tonight? David demanded. Because I needed tonight to happen exactly as it did, I explained. If I had confronted them privately, they would have made excuses, minimized it, probably blamed me somehow. If I had told you privately, you might have confronted Vanessa before I was ready, and she might have convinced you I was lying or manipulating evidence. This way they expose themselves in front of the whole family. No one can claim I'm exaggerating or being vindictive. Everyone saw exactly who they are. My father was nodding slowly. You've been planning this. Every detail I confirmed. The fertility test, the private investigator, the divorce papers, moving out quietly, even choosing tonight for this confrontation. Vanessa always loved being the center of attention at family events. I knew she'd pick my birthday dinner for maximum impact. That's terrifyingly calculated, my mother whispered. She taught me, I replied. Vanessa has been calculating ways to diminish me our entire lives. Remember when I got accepted to business school and suddenly she needed an expensive surgery the same month so there was no money for my tuition? I ended up at state college instead. Remember when I got promoted and she threw that huge party the same weekend to celebrate her gallery opening, making sure everyone in the family had to choose which event to attend? She's been undermining me for 3 decades. I finally learned from her. The table fell silent as my parents processed this. I could see my father's face working through memories, reevaluating moments he'd dismissed or misunderstood. My mother's phone rang. She looked at it, looked at me, and let it go to voicemail. When it immediately rang again, she turned it off. What happens now? David asked quietly. Now I go home to my new apartment, and I sleep soundly for the first time in 8 weeks, I said. Tomorrow, Mark gets served with divorce papers, My lawyer is excellent, and we kept our finances mostly separate, so it should be straightforward. The apartment lease is in my name only. The car is paid off and titled to me, and we have no shared credit cards. He can have the furniture. And Vanessa? David asked. That's your decision, I told him. But for what it's worth, I'd recommend documenting everything, getting a lawyer, and protecting your assets immediately. If she's willing to do this to her own sister, imagine what she'd do in a contested divorce. David nodded grimly. I'm calling my attorney first thing tomorrow. Good. I stood, gathering my purse. I'm going to leave now. Mom, Dad, I love you. I'm sorry this happened at a family dinner, but I'm not sorry for how I handled it. They tried to destroy me, and I refused to be destroyed. My father stood and pulled me into a tight hug. You're stronger than I ever knew, he whispered. As I walked out of the restaurant into the cool October night, my phone was still buzzing constantly in my purse. I pulled it out long enough to block both Mark's and Vanessa's numbers. Then I drove to my new apartment, a 1-bedroom in a secure building downtown. The space was sparse, containing only essentials I'd moved in gradually over the past 2 weeks. A bed, a small table, 2 chairs, basic kitchen supplies, everything else I'd left behind. Material possessions seemed trivial compared to what I'd gained. My dignity, my truth, and the satisfaction of watching two people who had underestimated me completely unravel in real time. I poured myself a glass of wine, sat by the window overlooking the city lights, and smiled. The revenge wasn't finished yet. Tonight was just the opening act. The *** divorce *** were served to Mark at his workplace 3 days after my birthday dinner. According to my attorney, Caroline Wells, a sharp woman in her 50s, who specialized in high-conflict divorces, Mark had actually broken down crying in the lobby when the process server handed him the documents. His manager had to send him home for the day. I felt nothing when Caroline told me this. The man who cried in public over divorce papers was the same man who had planned to humiliate his wife at her birthday dinner. Crocodile tears held no currency with me anymore. What I hadn't anticipated was the fallout spreading through our social circle like wildfire. By the end of that first week, I had received dozens of messages from friends and acquaintances, most expressing shock and support. Apparently, Vanessa had attempted to control the narrative, telling people I had cruelly exposed private medical information and destroyed her happiness out of jealousy. She was painting herself as the victim of my vindictiveness. The strategy might have worked if not for my mother. Diane Mitchell had spent 3 days in silence after the birthday dinner processing the betrayal of her eldest daughter. Then, during her weekly bridge club meeting at the country club, attended by wealthy women who basically ran the social scene of our suburban community, someone had mentioned hearing about poor Vanessa's situation. My mother, normally the most diplomatic person I knew, had apparently set her cards down with enough force to rattle the table and said, "There is nothing poor about Vanessa." She conducted a calculated affair with her sister's husband and attempted to announce a fake pregnancy at Elena's birthday dinner to publicly humiliate her. When Elena had the intelligence to fact-check the situation using medical documentation, Vanessa was exposed as both an adulteress and a liar. If anyone deserves sympathy, it's Elena and David. The story spread within 24 hours. Bridge club members told their husbands, who told their colleagues, who told their wives. The medical documentation detail was particularly damaging to Vanessa's narrative. It was hard to claim someone was being cruel when they were simply presenting factual evidence. David, meanwhile, had filed for divorce within days and moved out of their shared house. Through mutual friends, I learned he'd discovered evidence of at least 2 other affairs Vanessa had conducted during their marriage. He'd hired the same private investigator I'd used, and the man had found hotel receipts, deleted text messages recovered from phone records, and testimony from Vanessa's former assistant about her bragging about keeping her options open. The art gallery where Vanessa worked as a director let her go. The official reason was restructuring, but everyone knew the owner, a woman named Patricia who sat on the board of 3 local charities, had been horrified by the affair revelations and couldn't stomach having Vanessa represent her business. Mark's situation deteriorated even faster. The consulting firm where he worked had a morality clause for senior partners. When the news reached the partners that Mark had been conducting an affair with his wife's sister and that the confrontation had occurred in a public restaurant, he was demoted. His salary dropped by 40% overnight. I learned all of this through my network of friends and family, carefully maintained over the years. The same social connections Vanessa had often mocked me for nurturing. "You're too nice to people," she'd said once. "It makes you look desperate for approval." Now, those people provided me with detailed intelligence about my enemy's downfall. But I wasn't satisfied yet. The public humiliation was gratifying, certainly, but it wasn't enough. They had tried to destroy my life, my reputation, my sense of self-worth. They deserved to lose more than jobs and social standing. The opportunity came from an unexpected source, David's attorney. 3 weeks after my birthday dinner, I received a call from a lawyer named Richard Sterling. He represented David in the divorce and had a proposition for me. Could we meet for coffee? We met at a cafe downtown, neutral territory. Sterling was a compact man in his 40s, with the predatory alertness of a shark who'd scented blood in the water. "I'll be direct," he said after we'd ordered. "David wants to destroy Vanessa financially in this divorce. He has grounds for fault-based divorce due to adultery, which can impact property division. but what he really wants is to go after her for fraud. Fraud? I leaned forward. The house they lived in was purchased with a down payment that came partially from David's savings and partially from a loan from Vanessa's parents. Except David recently discovered that Vanessa told her parents the down payment was entirely from his savings, and she pocketed the $75,000 they gave her. She's been using it to fund her lifestyle. The expensive clothes, the spa weekends, the hotel rooms for her affairs. I felt a cold satisfaction settle over me. You can prove this? Bank records show a $75,000 deposit into her personal account 3 years ago, right before the house purchase. The money didn't go toward the house. David's savings did. But her parents have a written agreement that they loaned the money specifically for the house down payment, expecting to be repaid. She defrauded them and David. What do you need from me? Sterling slid a document across the table. David is willing to share legal costs if you want to join a civil suit against both Vanessa and Mark for alienation of affection and criminal conversation. I blinked. Does the state even recognize those laws anymore? Technically, no. Most states abolish those specific causes of action. But we can pursue a civil claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress which has a similar effect. The birthday dinner incident in particular demonstrates deliberate, extreme, and outrageous conduct intended to cause severe emotional distress The premeditation, the public setting, the cruelty of the pregnancy lie. It all supports the claim, I mused. Exactly. What are the chances of winning? Strong given the evidence. But more importantly, the discovery process would be devastating for them. We'd subpoena all their communications, financial records, work records. Everything would become part of the public court record, and the legal fees to defend themselves would be crippling, especially since they're both unemployed or underemployed now. I thought about this. A lawsuit would drain their resources, expose every sordid detail of their affair, and create a permanent legal record of their betrayal. Even if we only won a token judgment, the process itself would be the punishment. I'm in, I said. That night, I called my father and explained the situation. He was silent for a long moment before saying, "Your mother and I will support you in whatever you decide. But Elena, I need to tell you something about Vanessa." What? She called your mother yesterday. She's claiming she's actually pregnant, that the father is some man she met at a bar, and that she only said it was Mark's baby because she panicked and wanted to hurt you for. He paused. For always being Dad's favorite? I laughed, a sharp bark of sound. I was never Dad's favorite. You both doted on Vanessa constantly. That's what your mother said. But Vanessa has apparently convinced herself of this narrative. She's telling people you've been jealous of her your whole life, that you stole her thunder at family events, that Mom and I loved you more because you were the baby. The projection was so absurd, I almost felt impressed. Vanessa had rewritten our entire childhood in her mind, casting herself as the victim of favoritism that had never existed. Is she actually pregnant? I asked. Your mother doesn't know. Vanessa won't say who the supposed father is or provide any proof. It might be another manipulation tactic. Or she actually is pregnant from one of her other affairs and is trying to figure out how to use it for sympathy, I said. Either way, it doesn't matter. The lawsuit moves forward. The papers were filed 2 days later. Vanessa and Mark were served simultaneously, both receiving thick legal documents outlining claims for intentional infliction of emotional distress, with detailed descriptions of their affair, the planned birthday dinner ambush, and the ongoing emotional and reputational harm they'd caused. Mark's attorney called Caroline within hours, proposing a settlement. My client is willing to expedite the divorce and waive any claim to shared assets if Mrs. Mitchell will drop the civil suit. Declined, Caroline replied. My client wants her day in court. Vanessa apparently had no attorney yet. She called my parents' house screaming, demanding they pay for her legal defense. My father, displaying a backbone I'd rarely seen, told her that actions have consequences and hung up. The discovery process began, and it was every bit as devastating as Sterling had promised. Subpoenas went out to hotels, restaurants, phone companies, and banks. Vanessa's former colleagues from the gallery were deposed. Mark's colleagues at the consulting firm gave statements. Even Sarah, the friend Vanessa had used as an alibi, provided a sworn affidavit about the deception. The most damning evidence came from Mark's own phone. The private investigator had previously obtained text message records, but the subpoena forced Mark to turn over the actual device. Deleted messages were recovered, including a conversation from 2 months before my birthday, where Mark and Vanessa had explicitly planned the pregnancy announcement. Asterisk Mark. I think we should tell everyone at Elena's birthday dinner. Asterisk. Asterisk. Vanessa. Won't that be too cruel? Asterisk. Asterisk Mark. She deserves it. She's always acted like she's better than me. This will destroy her. Asterisk. Asterisk. Vanessa. What if she doesn't believe the baby is mine? Asterisk. Asterisk Mark. She will. She trusts you completely. She's pathetic that way. Asterisk. When Caroline showed me those messages, I felt the last remnant of doubt dissolve. These weren't people who had made a mistake or fallen into temptation. They were asterisk, calculated asterisk, cruel, and had relished the idea of my destruction. I want every one of these messages entered into evidence, I told Caroline. They will be, she assured me, and they'll be part of the public record once we're in court. The trial was scheduled for early December, but Vanessa's world collapsed before we ever reached the courtroom. It started with her parents. Harold and Diane Mitchell had been trying to remain neutral, supporting both daughters while privately hoping for some kind of reconciliation. That changed when David's attorney subpoenaed them as witnesses regarding the $75,000 down payment loan. My parents had to sit in a conference room and review bank records showing they'd given Vanessa the money specifically for the house purchase. They had to read the written agreement Vanessa had signed, promising to repay the loan over 5 years. They had to see bank statements proving Vanessa had deposited the money into her personal account and spent it on everything except the house. My mother called me that night, her voice hollow. She stole from us, from her own parents. I know, Mom. And she let us believe we were helping her and David build a life together. We were so proud she was being financially responsible buying a house. She broke off crying. My father took the phone. Elena, we're testifying against her. We're demanding the $75,000 back as part of David's lawsuit, and we're supporting your case completely. What she did to you, to us, to David. There's no defending it. The parental abandonment shattered Vanessa's remaining support system. Her friends had already distanced themselves. Her employer had fired her. David had frozen their joint accounts and moved out. Mark had stopped answering her calls once his own legal troubles mounted. And now her parents had publicly chosen my side. She showed up at my apartment building one evening in mid-November, somehow getting past security by following another resident through the door. I only knew she was there because she started pounding on my door at 9 at night. Elena! Elena, please. I need to talk to you. Her voice was ragged, desperate. I looked through the peephole. Vanessa looked terrible. Unwashed hair, rumpled clothes, dark circles under her eyes. She'd lost weight, her cheekbones standing out sharply. I didn't open the door. Elena, please? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I made a terrible mistake. Please, you have to drop the lawsuit. I can't afford an attorney. I'm going to lose everything. You should have thought of that before you tried to destroy me, I called through the door. I was wrong. I was jealous and stupid and wrong. Please, we're sisters. Family forgives family. Family doesn't betray family, I replied. Family doesn't plan elaborate public humiliations. Family doesn't steal from their parents or commit felony theft . You're not my sister anymore, Vanessa. You're just someone who shares my DNA and made the catastrophic mistake of underestimating me. I'm pregnant, she screamed. I'm actually pregnant, and I don't have insurance or money or anyone to help me. Then you should probably figure out who the father actually is and ask him for child support. The sound that came through the door was halfway between a sob and a scream of rage. She pounded on the door a few more times. Then I heard her footsteps retreating down the hallway. I called building security and had her removed from the premises and added to a banned list. Mark's approach was different. He sent letters, long handwritten pages delivered through his attorney to avoid the restraining order David had obtained on my behalf. The letters were masterpieces of manipulation and self-pity. He claimed the affair had meant nothing, that Vanessa had seduced him, that he'd been weak and stupid but never stopped loving me. He begged for another chance, promised therapy, swore he'd spend the rest of his life making it up to me. He even had the audacity to suggest that once this legal unpleasantness was over, we could start fresh, maybe even have children through IVF or adoption. I read each letter once, then filed it with Caroline, who added them to our evidence pile. These demonstrate consciousness of guilt and continued attempts to manipulate, she noted with satisfaction. The week before our scheduled court date, both Mark and Vanessa's attorneys requested an emergency meeting to discuss settlement. We met in a conference room at Caroline's law firm. Mark sat slumped in his chair, looking like he'd aged 10 years. Vanessa wasn't there. Her public defender, she'd finally qualified for one after proving complete insolvency, attended alone. My client is prepared to offer a full apology and admission of wrongdoing, Mark's attorney began. In exchange for dropping the civil suit, he'll agree to an expedited divorce with no claims to any assets, including the car, and will pay Mrs. Mitchell's legal fees. My client is willing to provide a written apology and sign a non-disparagement agreement, the public defender added. She has no assets to offer, but she'll agree to any reasonable terms to settle. Caroline looked at me. We'd discussed this possibility. I nodded. My client will accept those terms with modifications, Caroline said. In addition to the items mentioned, both defendants will provide full written confessions detailing the affair, the planning of the birthday dinner ambush, and any other relevant deceptions. These confessions will be filed with the court as part of the settlement. Additionally, both will agree to permanent restraining orders prohibiting any contact with my client or her family. Finally, Mark will surrender any interest in the marital home's furniture and belongings and will pay an additional $40,000 in compensatory damages. Mark's attorney winced. My client doesn't have $40,000. Then he can structure a payment plan, but that's the offer. Take it, or see us in court where discovery will continue and the text messages planning this whole cruel scheme will be read aloud in open court and entered into public record. They took it. The confessions arrived 3 days later, detailed, humiliating documents in which Mark and Vanessa admitted to every aspect of their betrayal. The affair beginning 8 months before my birthday, the hotel meetings, the lies to their spouses, the deliberate planning of the pregnancy announcement to teach Elena a lesson about being smug and judgmental. Vanessa even admitted to the down payment fraud against her parents. Caroline had the documents notarized and filed with the court. They became part of the permanent public record, searchable by anyone who cared to look. The divorce was finalized on December 18th. I spent that afternoon at my parents' house drinking champagne with my mother while my father grilled steaks for dinner. David joined us, newly divorced himself as of the previous week. To freedom, David toasted, raising his glass. To people getting exactly what they deserve, I replied. We'd become unlikely friends through this process, bonded by betrayal and revenge. David had walked away from his marriage with the house, which he immediately listed for sale. He kept his savings and the personal satisfaction of watching Vanessa's life implode. The $75,000 fraud case was still pending. My parents had decided to pursue it separately, and criminal charges were likely. I heard Mark got fired from the consulting firm David mentioned. Complete termination this time, not just a demotion. Caroline told me, I confirmed. Apparently, he'd been making partial payments on the $40,000 he owes me, but he fell behind. She had his wages garnished. His employer decided that having an employee with garnished wages was bad for the company image. My mother shook her head. How do people let themselves become so twisted? Entitlement, I said simply. Vanessa always believed she deserved everything she wanted regardless of who got hurt. Mark was weak enough to be flattered by her attention and cruel enough to enjoy plotting against me. They fed each other's worst narcissist impulses. Have you heard anything about the baby? David asked carefully. She had a miscarriage or claimed to. There's no medical documentation, so it might have been another lie, I felt nothing saying this. If there had been a baby, I felt sorry for it. Being born to Vanessa would have been a terrible fate, but I couldn't muster sympathy for Vanessa herself. My father emerged from the kitchen with a platter of perfectly grilled steaks. No more talk about those two, he declared. Tonight is about celebrating Elena's fresh start. After dinner, I drove back to my apartment. The space had evolved over the past months. I'd bought new furniture, hung artwork, created a home that was entirely mine. No traces of Mark existed here. This was my sanctuary. I was pouring a glass of wine when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Elena. The voice was barely recognizable, hoarse, broken. Vanessa. How did you get this number? Please don't hang up. Please, I need you to know I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't care. Good, I said calmly. That's exactly what you deserve.